Hello, my name is John Regina, and I'm the founder and the president of Regina Builders. The first house that I want to introduce you to is Maddie and Joel's. It's right behind me, and I believe it's one of the jewels of my company. And it's situated right here on the Atlantic Ocean. We've been building new homes, additions, renovating existing homes since 1981. Throughout this DVD, I'd like to introduce you to my company and to the things that we think makes Regina Builders different than the other builders in the area. All the houses you're going to see in this video, you can see on the website at www.reginabuilders.com. In the history of Regina Builders, I don't know if there's a better example than what we came up with here for Maddie and Joel, along with the design team of the architect, the designer, and the homeowner. Come with me now, look in the kitchen. To see more of this house, simply go on to www.reginabuilders.com and click on Virtual Tours. This is Lois and Sonny's house. Let me tell you a little bit about this house. Lois and Sonny called me a few years ago to have me come over to their house and visit them and look at a set of blueprints they had created. I met with the architect and with Lois and Sonny, and Lois had some definite ideas about what she wanted the house to look like. She had seen the houses in Cape Cod that she liked a lot. So subsequently, that's what she was trying to get. Sonny and Lois commissioned me to work along with the architect to try to attain this. It took us multiple sets of drawings to ultimately come up with what you see behind me. Let me take you in the house now and show you how everything went and what came together on this job. We're back in Sonny and Lois's house. This is the entry. The entry that was originally designed did not have any definition and did not make a statement at all. So I asked Sonny and Lois if they'd like to work together and try to figure out something we can do in this space as to create a little bit more drama as you enter the house. This is sort of what we came up with it right here, with this panel design and the carpet ceiling and the trim details. Come with me now so I can show you some other parts of the house. Here we are in the living room that separates to the dining room. Lois and Sonny had their children involved with some of the design aspects of this house. When they came down to visit one day, they decided they did not like the sense of restrictedness, that it wasn't connected to two elements. So they asked us if we could get involved with helping open the space up. So we worked with an engineer and were able to open up the space between the dining room and the living room. As you see here, we filled it with a cabinet. Come on with me now, let's look at the kitchen for a second. Okay, one of the things that we noticed in the plan was that the kitchen was possibly going to be dark. And we advocated that we put some windows here between the wall cabinets and the base cabinets to try to bring some light into this space. There's one more aspect of this house I'd like to show you upstairs. Okay, actually there's two more things in this house I'd like to show you. Here's Sonny's office, and there was a question about the design of the ceiling that really wasn't spec'd out by the architect. So I talked to Sonny and I told him what we could do with this conical shape ceiling design with some beams, and he was all for it. So here's the result. Another thing that occurred on this job was there was a limited amount of area on the outside to use for the surfaces. We couldn't really find a way to get the air conditioning units in the property and still abide by the zoning limitations. So they kept quizzing me and say, where can we do with them, what can we do with them? And I came up with this idea. Ultimately, we put these units on the roof. We were able to build a frame system and locate them up on the roof in a position that is they're not seen by any place on the property. You actually have to go into the neighbor's backyard to possibly see these units, but they're totally accessible to the mechanics that need to work on them on occasion.
And as I said a moment ago, like building a house of this size, there are inevitably going to be some changes. There was never any problem. Some of the changes we didn't make because, frankly, we discussed the cost and we decided that it wasn't worth the effort. But I want to thank John for giving us a home that my family loves. We built this home not only for the two of us, but for our whole family, and when everybody's together we have 13 people. And there isn't one person amongst the 13, including the little ones, that do not enjoy coming here. And so I will say thanks to John, and I will let my wife say a few words if she's she wishes.
Hi, I'm Lois Stern, and I would also like to thank John. First of all, because anything that needed to be done in this house, he is very creative. And I sort of knew, seeing other things that he did, that I could just leave it up to him with not even seeing what he did. And you can see by our house that everything was very well done, and we were very pleased. And I think, honestly, that there is not another builder that anybody should go to except John Regina.
It's that wonderful. Thank you.
And that's the truth.
Thank you.
That has been said many times. When I meet somebody, I go, you're crazy if you even dream of going anywhere else.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Talked about with you yesterday, and we got people selling you that little deal in there.
Yeah, we can return that beam anywhere, so it's not going to be bearing in the ceiling in the middle work out.
And these two windows on this side, right there, those ones flanking the door, you're going to lower them down to just on top of that molding detail, as close as can be to the baseboard molding.
Yep.
All right?
Yep, that'll be fine.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, John. Not talking about the basement, but have the door to the attic, so you can. Yeah, we'll talk about the door.
I'm on. Okay, so Dave, in regard to this bathroom, you know, he doesn't have a window plan for that room. The way I see it, the geometry of this cricket is such that there certainly should be able to get a wind in there. And if not, maybe we can switch the cricket around, and so it still drains water, but allows us to have some light, natural light in that bathroom.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I have to look into it, but I think it's possible we can put a window in there. That way we can get some natural light in there. I think it would be best for the customer, and I think they'll definitely appreciate the natural light.
You ever think you might want to do something a little fun, a little different, a little quirky with your house? We also have the ability to help you in this regard. Here's an example of something that we did for ourselves. We put this in my house just because my wife and I like to work out and we like to be outside. So we put this in our house, and our family has taken advantage of it. For the last 2 years, we just love it. It's one of our favorite spots in the house. So if you'd like to do something a little different, just ask us. We'll try to help. All right, the next house I'm going to show you is the Green residence. The Greens were introduced to me a few years ago by an architect. They came to me, and I met with them, and I asked what their concerns and wants were in the house. The drawings had already been done, and they really wanted to have a front entry rather than a side entry. The house behind me is a depiction of what the Greens house looked like prior to us getting on the job. After reviewing the drawing and talking with the architect and talking to the homeowner and knowing the zoning code as intimately as we do, we discovered that we could in fact get them the front entryway that they wanted. This would mean that pretty much the architect had to start from scratch again and redo the drawings for the Greens. I'm about to take you and show you the Greens house as it is in the finished state. Good morning, Marlene.
Good morning, John.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We're making this video here in the hopes of introducing it to future customers. And I wanted to ask you if you'd be kind enough to tell the future customers what it's like working with Regina Builders.
I would be happy to. It was about 4 years ago, and I had a vision. We needed a new house at the shore for our growing family, and we contacted an architect, and I presented my vision, and she came up with blueprints and an idea that would really work for us, and then we had to look for a builder, and through recommendations of other people, we met John Regina. And John stepped up to the plate, looked at our plans, helped us, was an advocate for us through the entire process so that we could get exactly what we wanted that was able to be built correctly, working with the city of Margate, which is not always the easiest thing to do. And here we have this beautiful home that I just absolutely love every inch of it. I have open space for the downstairs, which I wanted, this beautiful kitchen that my entire family lives in. We love every inch of the house, and we are so happy. And through the process, we met everybody on the Regina building team, and I feel like they're a part of my family, available at my beck and call whenever I need them. And in the process, we have a new friend in John and his wife, and we just think it's wonderful, and we've loved every experience that we've had with them.
If you'd like to see more of the Greens house, go on to www.reginabuilders.com and click on virtual tours, and you can see the rest of the Green's home. Here we are on the outside of Steve and Diane's house in the back, and one of the stories that we have about this house was when we sat there with Steve and Diane, Steve was insistent that he didn't want any handrails, any guardrails on his house. All he wanted was handrails coming down the steps. So we had to engineer this thing to make sure that this back deck was low enough so there was no obstructions in his way when he's sitting at his dining room table. So here you go, this is the end result. But take a look at the back of the house. Steve loves the back of the house. Here we are in the back porch area of Steve and Diane's house. This is another example how all the minds come together to try to make a better project. Steve was insistent that we brought the siding from the outside into this room to make it feel more outside. I came up with this beam design and the coloring of the beam and the coloring of the ceiling. Together we all pull together. That's the concept, that we pull together and make a better job for everybody. Here we are inside of the foyer of Steve and Diane's house, and this is another issue here where the homeowner injected their thoughts into the design, and it ultimately became a better thing. The architect and the designer had originally put this ceiling as a flat ceiling right on through. The owner insisted on making this where there was a separation and made a more formal foyer out of the element rather than it just flowing straight through into the living space. Here's an issue that came up, is this floor. Steve was very, very sensitive, being an attorney, about the problems that hardwood floors have lately, about floors cupping. So what we did was we researched it through the National Hardwood Flooring Association and found out that if we back sealed the floor, it would preclude the problem of the cupping of the floor. So this is the end result, is that you have a perfectly flat floor, thank God. And also, we have an issue with the molding. The moldings that are up here at the ceiling line, the ones that are colored are the ones that were manufactured by the cabinet manufacturer. Adjacent to it are ones that are painted white. The ones that are painted white we had done by a millwork company locally to match that profile exactly, subsequently saving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, possibly thousands of dollars for the customer.
I can only say that building a house with you and your organization was nothing less than a totally favorable experience. As you may know, many people who build a custom home fret over the experience and feel that it's fraught with tension and anxiety. We felt just the opposite. Every experience we had was a pleasurable one. When there was an issue, which invariably crops up in building a custom home, we knew and had absolute confidence in you and your organization to know that it was going to be resolved favorably and in the best manner in our favor, so that we know we have a truly fine custom-built home. Right, Diane?
Right.
So I hope that's given you a little taste of the kind of clientele, the kind of work, the kind of relationships, the kind of jobs that Regina Builders does. If you'd like to see more, please go to the website, www.reginabuilders.com, and check those testimonials and check the referrals and have a great time taking the virtual tours. For all your construction needs in the Atlantic City area, give us a call at 609-484-1987. I hope this has been informative. Thank you.